Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another not character sorter, what the fuck? Tiermaker challenge. It's definitely a challenge. No, we're going to go back to the first season of Madness, which is a Normal Boots show that the people of Normal Boots have announced or revealed, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And the first one was about Nintendo 64 games. So what was the best Nintendo 64 games on like a bracket of 12 games, I believe. So I looked at a tier maker and tried to remake this. So I'm planning on remaking that exact kind of a bracket, but then in my own tier list kind of way, you know what I mean? So I added the 12 from Madness, which are Banjo-Kazooie, Diddy Kong Racing, GoldenEye 007, Mario Kart 64, Mario Party 2, Paper Mario, Star Fox 64, Pokemon Snap, Mario 64, Smash Bros, Majora's Mask, and Ocarina of Time. And I added 4 others as my personal choices, being DK64, Mario Tennis, Yoshi's Story, and Pokemon Stadium 2. So we're gonna see how we can get through this and which ones are going to be on the bottom, being C, and which are going to be at the top, S, which is only going to be 1, by the way. I'm only going to be putting 1 on S to make it fair. Also, I'm going to rank them specifically within these specific tiers, just as an FYI. Okay, so let's start off with the first one on my list here, which is Banjo-Kazooie. Banjo-Kazooie is going to... Actually, no, I'm going to start off with C. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So which game out of all of these would I put at C, dead bottom? Looking at all of these games, I am going to put GoldenEye 007. I don't think I need to explain this. This is going to be dead bottom. I'm fairly certain it's going to be dead bottom. I'm going to rearrange these games later. But GoldenEye 007 is definitely the worst game in this entire bracket. Even with the 4 I added, still think this game is worse. Why is this game worse? It's because a lot of people think this game is good. But it's not. It's a really bad game. GoldenEye is not a good game. It's not a good game for the N64. Sure, it was definitely revolutionary with its first-person shooter mechanics and whatever else it did. Still not a good game though. Has a lot of problems, a lot of bugs, a lot of dumbass multiplayer design choices. I don't think it holds up well. And I'm also kind of looking at these games just like Madness did, and looking at them and being like, yeah, okay, these games hold up decently well in comparison to these, but these games hold up not at all. Which GoldenEye does not hold up in the slightest. In comparison to all of these other games that are on here, I don't think it even stands a chance. That's why it's going to be on the bottom of the C rank. So, what else is going to be on the C rank? Looking at this entire list, I think I'm going to put... I'm gonna piss a lot of people off with this, probably. I'm going to put on the bottom of... Well, not bottom, but I'm going to put in C tier Pokemon Snap. Now, don't think that it's because it's a bad game. Absolutely not. I love Pokemon Snap. I think it's a phenomenal game, and I think it deserves the praise that it actually gets. However, would I say that Pokemon Snap is a very good game in comparison to some of these other N64 games? I do not think it compares as well as people may think it does. You know what I mean? It's a good game, but one of the main things that Pokemon Snap is held down by is its length. Wish it was just like 5 levels longer even. That would have been more than enough. You would have had a decently lengthy game, and you wouldn't have the entire concept of backtracking over and over and over again to get all 151 Pokemon photographed, because that's an annoying part about the game that I actually do not like. That you have to go back through the entire level to just get that one mon that you may have missed taking a photograph of, or you can't get the best photograph. Because that's another thing that this game doesn't do very well, and that's judging your photo and being like, yeah, this is good or this is bad. It doesn't make sense, and I don't think it should make sense either. I think it's too complicated without having any complicated things behind it at all. You know what I mean? Probably don't know what I mean, but just trust me on this one. I don't think Pokemon Snap holds well at all in comparison to some of these other N64 games that are still classics to this day. So I think I'm going to put it a little bit higher than GoldenEye for sure, because I think GoldenEye is just... I wouldn't say bad, but almost bad. Okay, so Are we almost out of C tier? I wouldn't say so. I think there are a couple of other games I would put in C tier. Because I still consider some of these other games like at least a rank above the others. I think in C tier, I know I put this in myself, I'm going to put Pokemon Stadium 2. Why am I saying that? It's because Pokemon Stadium 2, while a fun game, is not a very great game. I just put it on here because I fucking love this game and I would see how it held up against the original 12 from Madness. And I think it held up pretty decently, this game did. Now, Pokemon Stadium 2, I fucking love this game, but I consider that it's not a good game, which we'll see in the next entry as well. I don't consider this a very good game, and it doesn't compare at all to some of the other games. The combat is super fun, as in like trying to choose whichever Pokemon you want. It's super fun, but the only way you can have a lot of fun with Pokemon Stadium 2, in my opinion, is if you combine it with Pokemon Gold and Silver and Crystal. Because then you can transfer over your mons from those games to Pokemon Stadium 2 and generally have a better time with the stadiums. That's what I think. Gym Leader Castle is very, very fucking possible with, like, whatever team you get from rental. But the rental mons are just absolute trash. They're so bad, and they are really not, like, competing well against some of the higher-ups in the stadiums. You can do it, but it's just so annoying, and it becomes so much easier as well when you use the transfers, which is also not a good thing, because using the transfers gives you a lot of advantages in comparison to all of the other mons within the stadium, because you can actually have higher level mons than they can. Now, of course, they have higher level mons if you go with only rentals, but still, it becomes unfair, and then you kind of like just breeze through most of the stadiums. So I think balanced wise, Stadium and Stadium 2 both have a lot of problems, and the reason why I'm putting Stadium 2 instead of Stadium 1 on this list is because I think Stadium 2 is more polished, mainly because there are more mons in this game, the movesets are somewhat more polished, and other than that, more typing, stuff like that, whatever. It's just, I think it's a more polished game overall. Let's move on to the fourth game that I'm going to put in C tier, and that is DK64. This is also going to be in this order. I might change it later, but I'm pretty sure this is the order I'm going to go with. DK64, I fucking adore this game. One of my favorite N64 games, maybe even my favorite N64 game on this list. Why am I putting it in C tier? It's because it's a bad game. Now, the only reason why I would put DK64 over Stadium 2 and Pokemon Snap is because of its its enjoyment value, really. DK64 to me is a really fun game, and it's probably like one of the most nostalgic games that I can go back to on DK60 or on Nintendo 64 and never get tired of. I literally never get tired of this game. I love it that much. The problem is though, the bugs, the excessive backtracking within the game, having no logic placement for bananas, colored bananas, all that good stuff. The levels are just very chaotic and all over the place, which is not a good thing, but I guess you can see that as a plus. Some really trash levels as well, I'm not gonna lie about that. Soundtrack is phenomenal though. I'm gonna say something positive for once, because I think I've only been saying a lot of negative shit about like Stadium 2, Snap. I'm gonna say something positive, DK64. The soundtrack is phenomenal. Like, Grant Kirkhope did a phenomenal job on this, like most of the other Rare games that we're gonna get to in a second. But most? I'm like thinking about it for a second, and I think only one more. Yeah, I think it's only one more. So, but DK64, other than that, the gameplay is fun. The game feels very fun. At least that's, to me, that's the case. I think it feels fun. All the characters feel unique in their own ways. Although there are certain characters that I will say certain characters are more enjoyable to play than others. Mainly the heavy characters are not as fun. Like DK has his role, but that's really it. While Diddy just has so much variety in its moveset, and Tiny just has the fucking Thwirl, which can get you literally everywhere in the level that you want. Problem is, you can't use a certain Kong throughout the entire level, because you have to switch in between them all the time, and that's one of the main problems DK64 has. There's no way to switch between Kongs unless you find a tag barrel in a specific location of the entire level. You can't switch them at will at any point in time, and that sucks. It's one of the biggest things that holds down DK64. Going to be critic about this game, even though I absolutely adore it. Another thing in C rank, I would put... Let's see. No, Yoshi's Story deserves tier higher, I think. I think it deserves a tier higher, yeah. I'm going to put Mario Tennis. Why is that? It's a sports game. Although I love Mario Tennis, I'm gonna put this below DK64. I didn't necessarily grow up with Mario Tennis, like the N64 game. I later played the GameCube version, which is amazing, and then the N64 version, which I played later, is also really fun. Don't get me wrong, it's a really fun game, but I don't know. I don't think it holds up as well as like, what is it? What is the second game called? I'll put it up on screen. But like the later games, or like Mario Tennis Open or Aces that just came out. Well, just came out like a year ago. But those games are really good. And I think Mario Tennis in itself is just a very good game. I could have put Mario Golf on there, but I have no experience with Mario Golf, and I do with Mario Tennis. It's a very fun tennis game, really. Like, if you want a sports game that is not quite as serious and you can have a lot of fun with, I think Mario Tennis is a good way to go. And the same goes for Mario Golf for like golf games, right? I think those games are just really good for like sports fans, but don't really like the concept of like an actual tennis game or like an actual soccer game, you know, stuff like that. I think Mario Tennis, like the Mario sports games in general, definitely cover that pretty well for Nintendo fans. So I'm gonna put Mario Tennis on C rank though, below DK64, but on still a pretty good spot, I would say. Okay, I think we're out of C tier right now. How many did I put in C tier? 5? I think that's fine. That's fine, yeah. We can definitely leave that many in C tier. So the first game I'm going to put in B tier though. I think it'll be Mario Party 2. I don't understand why they chose Mario Party 2 instead of Mario Party 3. I mean, that's what the people wanted. I guess people were more familiar with Mario Party 2 than they were with Mario Party 3. I think 3 is better. Doesn't matter though, they chose Mario Party 2, and I wasn't going to add 3 as well. That would have been kind of annoying to have 2 Mario Parties on there. I mean, we already have 2 Zeldas, so yeah, I think it's fair. But Mario Party 2, while a good game, don't get me wrong, I haven't played a whole lot of it, but I've played a little bit, and I think its variety is definitely really unique and definitely a lot better in comparison to like Mario Party 1, but we're not comparing it to that, so I'd consider it a pretty overall good party game, you know? Like, you can have a lot of fun with this game if you have a lot of friends. Solo or single player is always like the struggle with a lot of multiplayer heavy games, right? I think Mario Party 2 is still fun to play single player, I would say. I think Mario Party games in general are very fun to play single player. But definitely where it shines is its multiplayer. The multiplayer is really good. You have a lot of fun with friends. I think people to this day still play the old school Mario Party games because they're generally better received than some of the later ones. But I don't know. I think this game is just generally really fun, and I think it deserves a tier higher than C tier, since it is just one of the better games in the N64 for sure. Moving on, we have, let's see. As much as it pains me to see, or pains me to say this, I'm gonna put Mario Kart 64 on here. Okay, this is not the order I want. I'm gonna change the order later, and then I'll come back to you guys. But Mario Kart 64, amazing kart racer. Definitely one of the best racing games on the N64. Yeah, definitely, for sure. I think, to me, it's my favorite racer on the N64, but I haven't played F-Zero X, so that's why it's not on like my honorable mentions on this. I'm sorry about that. If you guys wanted to see F-Zero, sorry, I haven't played it. So, I don't know. I'll make a video about it at some point, maybe, if I ever play F-Zero X and kind of give my opinion about it. But other than that, Mario Kart 64, still consider that my favorite kart racer. Well, favorite racing game in general. A lot of variety in its stages. I think it definitely helped putting Mario Kart into 3D, and it was a blast. Like, you had so much a blast with this game in particular. Definitely with its split screen mode. You can go up to 4 players, which was different from the SNES era, I believe. You only have 8 characters, which is kind of an issue in my opinion. I think they could have added a bit more characters, but I mean, same goes for Melee, Smash Bros. We'll get to it in a second. Same problem. I think the amount of characters you can choose from, it barely matters. I think you only have like light characters, mid-ground characters, and heavies. So like heavies is like Wario, DK, Bowser. Midweights are like Mario, Luigi, and I think that's it. And like lightweights that are fast Toad, Yoshi, Peach. Who else is there? Or did I name all the characters? I named all of them. Yeah, so you don't have a lot of variety in that regard, but that's fine. I don't think this game deserves or needs a lot of variety as it is, since the main concept is simple enough. Let's just say it like that. The main concept of this game isn't super hard to understand. It's racing, and fuck your friends up with whatever items you get, red shells or whatever the fuck, you know? just fun, kind of like party game, rather than a racer, to be fair. I think it goes hand in hand with Mario Party 2 pretty damn well, so I would say Mario Kart 64 definitely an amazing multiplayer game, but lacks a bit in the single player, because there's not a whole lot to do you can, not a whole lot you can do with its single player. On B tier as well, I'm going to put both races on there. I'm going to put Diddy Kong Racing. I'm going to put Diddy Kong Racing below Mario Kart 64, mainly because I haven't played a whole lot of Diddy Kong Racing, and I don't see why it's as popular as it is. Same goes for people seeing why Kirby Air Ride is as good, while I don't really see it. Like, I don't really see why Diddy Kong Racing isn't as important. I can see why this is a good game, though. 100%. I have to fully get into this game to fully understand why people like it so much. But to me, if I were to play a racing game, I would go with Mario Kart 64 any day of the week. If I wanted to go with a more single-player route of racing games, I think Diddy Kong Racing does a better job. But the reason I play a racing game is not because I want to go in single-player, I want to go in multiplayer. At least that goes for the N64 for me then. If it was any other console with single-player racing games, it would be different. But in this case, I'm going to go with Mario Kart 64 for Diddy Kong Racing. I generally think it's a better multiplayer experience whenever it comes to racing games, but other than that, I can see the appeal in Diddy Kong Racing for sure, definitely with its bosses, its very unique concept for a racing game, a very like adventure-rich kind of experience, which is unique, definitely unique for a racing game. I think there was another game on the N64 though that had that exact same concept, that also had like the concept of being able to drive around, not really racing all the time. I'm not sure which one it is though. Maybe I'll post it in post-production, I don't know. But yeah, that's what I think about. So, do I have anything other to say about Diddy Kong Racing? I'm not familiar with Diddy Kong Racing. Like, I'm really not. Maybe I should be, but I don't know. It's whatever. You can't play every game, and I realize that you can't play every game, but this is just my opinion on these games and where I would put them. So yeah. Moving on, okay, what do we have left? We have Banjo, Paper Mario, Star Fox 64, Mario 64, Smash, both Zeldas, Yoshi Story. If I had to put anything else in B tier, I guess it would be... Oh my god, this is so hard. I'm gonna put Yoshi Story in there. Not down there though, hell no, I'm gonna put that above Mario Kart 64 because I think it's a better game. Basically Yoshi's Island, but then in a more cutesy version, like some of the later ones have done, definitely with Woolly World and now the cardboard thing coming out. I forgot what the name is. Forgot what the name is of that game that's gonna come out on the Switch. Wait, oh, Crafted World I think is what it's called. Yep, that's right. But yeah, Yoshi Story, very cutesy Yoshi game. It's very, very fucking well done in how it created its art style and made it fit well enough with Yoshi. Like, it surprises me how many different kinds of styles fit with Yoshi. As like the game, well, not just the game concept, but Yoshi as a character. It just fits all perfectly. It really does. And I don't know, I just really think that appeals a lot when it comes to Yoshi's Story. Is its art style, its concept, it's the storybook concept, right? The same idea that Paper Mario is known for, which we'll get to in a second as well. But yeah, like, Yoshi's Story definitely up there with like one of the most artistically unique games on the N64. I think in games in general, I would say, but definitely for the N64. Very unique experience. Nothing on the N64 is really like it. Yeah, I don't know, like, the gameplay itself it's Yoshi's Island. Yeah, if you know what Yoshi's Island is, you have an idea of what Yoshi's Story's gameplay is going to be. Of course, you don't have to, like carry a baby over or anything, that's not a thing in this game, but it is pretty much the same level of, like, gameplay, even though it's not. You kind of get what I mean. You kind of get what I mean, hopefully. But yeah, like, the gameplay itself, it's simple. You don't have to explain a lot about it to understand what you have to do. It's simple. It's Yoshi. Come on, it's Yoshi. What else do you have to explain about it? But yeah, I think it definitely deserves B tier for sure. I don't think it deserves quite the A tier because I think some other games have better concept and are generally better. But hey, am I going to put anything else in B tier? Well, at this point, I'm like, which games would I consider equal? So let me explain like the tiers I'm doing right now. Or like each tier means these games are about even whenever it comes to quality. So each of these games I would consider like only a bit better or a bit worse than the other, right? So going by that idea, B tier would be, oh, this is hard. I might just leave B tier as it is. I'm gonna be completely honest, because I think I consider all of these games much better than the games in B tier right now. I'm contemplating putting Smash Bros in B tier, but I'm gonna piss off a lot of people by doing that. I already know, but I'm legitimately contemplating it. Okay, we'll leave it like this. We'll leave it like this. So in B tier, I'm gonna immediately, or in A tier, I'm gonna immediately start off Smash Bros. So Smash Bros, really good game, of course. Basically instigated the Smash Bros series, which is one of the biggest Nintendo IPs there are right now. Right now, that is, though. Smash Bros didn't get good until Melee. Change my points. Like, seriously. Like, prove me wrong. I'm serious. Prove me wrong. But Smash Bros on the N64 is not a very good game. The only reason I'm putting it this high is because I have a lot of experience with it. I know a lot of people have a lot of experience with it. And I think as a party experience, it's the best you can get on the N64 still. Even besides its lack of gameplay, or like its lack of being good gameplay, holds it against it. I get that. I think as a party game though, it's the best you can get on the N64. I think it's better than Mario Kart 64. I think it's better than Mario Party. You can't get anything quite like it on the N64, I find. The gameplay was so unique that it immediately drew people into the N64. It made people buy an N64 for good reason, because this game is amazing. This game is amazing, and definitely when it, well, mostly when it first came out. When it first came out, this game was fucking phenomenal. Nowadays, we realize that Smash Bros. In the N64 was mechanically not very good. Like, if you compare it to Melee, which only came out like 2 years later, I believe, which was already so much better, and like, basically quality-wise was already like at the top pretty much, is what it could be. And I think it even mentioned that, or like someone even mentioned before, that Smash Bros. Melee is what Smash Bros. 64 wanted to become, or what it had to become, but Smash Bros. 64 was just released in the N64 as like a final thing, right? And that's why it got released. But then for 2001, when Melee got released, it was completely refined and made for the new console, which came out as not a launch title, but pretty much a launch title on the Nintendo GameCube. Better game, but this game is still really good. I think this game is still fine enough as like a party game. And again, I'm gonna mention once again with the same thing I did with Mario Kart 64, and that's the character selection screen. Now this is a big problem with Smash Bros, not so much in Mario Kart, but in Smash Bros it's a pretty damn it's a pretty damn big problem, because you don't have a lot of variety whenever it comes to his characters. Now that could be a positive point towards Smash Bros 64, since you don't have a lot of like competitive sense that you have to like evolve or like develop, because you don't have a lot of characters you have to like learn from or learn against fighting. So I guess it's sort of a good thing, but it's also like the game is super unfucking balanced whenever it comes to the competitive scene. No one plays the competitive scene except for like a select few of people. It barely has any tournaments anymore, for good reason. But it has still more tournaments than Brawl. So it has that going for it. But yeah, I'm gonna put Smash Bros 64 probably dead bottom on A tier. Not a bad spot for it though. Like, don't get me wrong, I still think that Smash Bros is a really good game. It at least deserved A tier. You know, like, keep that in mind, guys. It deserved A tier. It's better than like games like Mario Kart 64, Mario Party 2. So give me some credit in that regard. Oh, A tier. What else? Okay, so I can only put one game in S tier, and I'm having a lot of trouble. Oh god. Okay, so first off, what I'm going to put in A tier, 100%. 100% I'm going to put in A tier Star Fox 64. Star Fox 64, phenomenal game. I love this game. Absolutely adore this game. Such a good game. Like, to be fair, it was the last time Star Fox was actually good. Let's be honest, because later we got Star Fox Adventures, which is not a very good game. Assault, which everyone forgot about. It's not even that great of a game, if I recall correctly. And then we got Star Fox Zero, which I don't want to talk about Star Fox Zero. So, and like previously we got like Star Fox on the SNES, which was kind of like what instigated the Star Fox series. It was alright, but definitely Star Fox 64 was like the point where Star Fox became what it is today. Star Fox 64 is just phenomenal in that regard. It's a rail shooter, which is unique. It's definitely unique for the N64. I cannot recall any other N64 game that did the exact same thing as Star Fox did. Of course not with the entire space-themed R-Wing flying shit. Like, of course not, but I don't know. I think Star Fox 64 was like the nice game that you could just pick up and play at any point you felt like it, you know? And they brought this up in Madness a couple of times. If there were two TVs in front of me, one had Star Fox 64 on it, and one had Yoshi's Story on it, I would play Star Fox 64 because it's the most accessible out of the two. At least to me it is. I think I could play through Star Fox 64 in about an hour, roughly. About an hour, and I think that's highballing it quite a bit. I think it's highballing it quite a bit, because Star Fox 64 is a very short game if you go through it once. The point is, though, you have so many different routes you can take, so much replayability within the game, that it kind of reaches that 30-hour mark already just from the amount of replays you can do with it, which is amazing for a game on the N64 like this, that it has so much replayability to it, because like after you're done with the game, you've done every single route in it. You can also get every single medal within each level as well, which those medals you can get by destroying a certain amount of enemies within the level, or getting a certain amount of points. So like you can get a like high score every single level in that way. And I don't know, there's so much replayability, and the game is just fun to play. It's so fun. It doesn't ever get like tiresome when you're playing through it, and definitely not with like a playthrough of an hour, you know, like you just want to play another one after that, and that's what this game does so damn well. It keeps you enticed throughout the entire thing, and that's what I love about it so much. Okay, moving on, because I don't know how long we are running right now. I'm gonna check real quick. We are running for almost 30 minutes. That's not good. I wanted to keep this video kind of short, so I'm gonna have to wrap this up kind of quickly, which is not fun. I might split this up in 2 episodes, now I'm like thinking about it. That might also be a thing. I don't know yet. Also in A tier, oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna get the obvious ones out of the way that I would put in this exact order. Paper Mario. Paper Mario, fucking phenomenal game, dude. Sorry I had to swear there, but man, I love this game. I've said this about like the past 4 games, I think. I fucking love this game. Oh, this game is so good. One of the only RPGs on the N64 out of like 3, if I'm correct. I think there are like 3 RPGs on the N64, being Paper Mario, Ogre Battle 64, if I recall correctly, and one more, which I don't remember. I don't remember what the other one is, but not a lot. So you don't have like that very good RPG experience on this system. You will never get that. Buy a PS1 for the RPG experiences. I'm talking about N64, I'm just completely promoting the PS1 for its RPGs. But like, if you want to play RPGs, this is not the system for you, let me tell you. Unless you really want to play Paper Mario, which is a good reason to buy an N64, let's be honest, because this game is really damn good, as I already said before. Now, Paper Mario, I think it's still like 40 bucks, right? I know that's the case for 1000 Year Door, which is the sequel to this game, but I think it's like 40 bucks still, which is insane. But that also kind of goes to show how good this game is. It's just the storybook concept that was in Yoshi's Story, but then with actual paper characters. Like, Mario is paper, Bowser is paper, Peach is paper, everything is fucking paper, and it's amazing. And they use some really cool like things within the game that complements the concept of everything being paper. So by making certain things more interesting, by making certain things kind of like correlate to the concept of it being paper. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, I don't know. It all makes sense, you know, and everything they do within the game, it's like these small like nudges of, yeah, this is still a paper world, by the way. Because sometimes you kind of forget that concept a little bit, and I think it's a good thing. You kind of get absorbed in the RPG itself, and you kind of forget that it's paper, right? But then they throw in these small nudges of like, oh wait, this is still paper, right? This is still Paper Mario. Keep that in mind. And I think it's amazing. I think it's really what makes this game so charming in a way. Its combat is really damn good. The combat is, it's simplistic. To be fair, they improved upon it in 1000 Year Door. I think the 1000 Year Door is a better game overall, but Paper Mario is still not bad, dude. Like, the combat is very much like an action sort of RPG. So take the concept of Super Mario RPG and then put it in paper. And that's Paper Mario. To be fair, this game was supposedly going to be called Super Mario RPG 2, but then they gave it a new IP. So we can kind of assume that the same combat was sort of applied for Paper Mario as well. It isn't quite similar, I will say, but it definitely has that action-y, like, RPG feel from Super Mario RPG put into Paper Mario, and I think that's, I think it's really appealing. I think it works for Mario, and they definitely utilized it as well. And Mario and Luigi, for instance, like, those games have the exact same concept of it being very action-heavy, which keeps the player interested within the game. These games are also not very long. Paper Mario is, like, 25 hours? I want to say. Still decent RPG length, but it's not nearly as bad as some of the other like RPGs, on like PS1 for instance. So yeah, I think it's a very, very fucking cool RPG for beginners to play. That's what I recommend Paper Mario to, towards beginners who want to get into RPGs and are very interested in like trying out one for the very first time. I think Paper Mario is a good start for sure. Next up, though, we have 4 games left. We have 4 games left, being Banjo, Mario 64, and both Zeldas. Now, you're probably already hinting at, like, what I'm going to put in S tier, right? It is between the 2 Zeldas, but I'm still contemplating which one to put in S tier. That's really it. So I'm gonna get like the weaker ones out of the way first, and this is also a hard one, and that's Banjo-Kazooie and Mario 64. I don't know. Honestly, I have no fucking clue which one to put higher. Because like I love Banjo-Kazooie, but I think Mario 64 is just so much more replayable, because the combat, the gameplay itself feels a lot more fun. And like that's something I've noticed in okay, you know what? I'm gonna put Banjo-Kazooie here. I'm gonna put Banjo-Kazooie here. And then we're gonna talk about Banjo-Kazooie for a bit. So Banjo-Kazooie probably Rare's like, I don't know, like, I wouldn't say like first breakout of a game. It kind of was. Like, it was kind of like Rare's breakthrough, Banjo-Kazooie. Amazing platformer. Definitely raised a lot of people's heads, being like, whoa, what the fuck is this? A bear and a bird? What is this shenanigans? And it's a really good shenanigans. This game is amazing. This game is so good. Like, why do I keep saying that? Why do I keep saying this game is so good? Because it is. But no, like, I've been playing Banjo-Kazooie on the channel. I'm about ready to finish it. Well, actually, I'm like at the final level, I think, at the time of this, or when this is going to be uploaded. But yeah, like, Banjo-Kazooie, from what I've noticed, the gameplay is not as tight as I remember it being. When I first played Banjo-Kazooie, I remember the gameplay being very easy to control. Everything felt very good. Like, there was nothing really too much that I could, like, complain about, whether it came to its gameplay. But now I realized when I replay Banjo-Kazooie, some of the things that you can, or some of the like mechanics in this game are not good. Like, swimming is awful in this game. Swimming in this game is one of the worst things I've ever seen. Probably in N64. One of the worst, like, swimming mechanics in the entirety of N64, I think. It's not good. It's very bad. It doesn't work properly. You can only do, like, 15 million miles per hour with one fucking pedal. It's insane. Like, movement itself, it feels so clunky and slippery, and it's not what I remembered it being at all. I really don't. You have a lot more options than Mario 64 whenever it comes to Banjo's movement. Sort of. Actually, do you have that many options? I don't think so, actually. But hey, it's fun. The levels themselves are really cool. I love all of the levels. I think all of them have something diverse about them that made them stand out from the others. Which is something Mario 64 could learn off, I guess. Sort of. But like Banjo-Kazooie also has less amount of levels. That's true. But yeah, other than that, I don't know what else to say about this game. It's just a solid platformer, really. Now, why I'm putting Banjo-Kazooie in here over Banjo-Tooie, well, actually, first of all, it's not my choice, because it was from Madness, and they chose Banjo-Kazooie. But also, I would go Banjo-Kazooie here too, because I think Banjo-Kazooie is a better game than Banjo-Tooie is. Like, please shout at me in the comments. I swear, I think that Banjo-Kazooie is just an overall more tighter experience for a platformer than Banjo-Tooie is. Banjo-Tooie goes in the concept of, hey, everything is connected, which is something I do not like for a platformer like this, where everything is connected. It makes everything so much more confusing for no reason. It really does, like, because it doesn't, first of all, like, it doesn't get implemented in the right way, is what I think. I don't think it works as well as it should. Like, I don't think they thought it through all that much. It was like, okay, let's connect everything. Yeah, let's do it. Why not? Sure. I think it's about the same amount of levels of Banjo-Kazooie, but I don't know. I'm not going to talk about Banjo-Tooie right now, by the way. That's for a different video. But I consider Banjo-Kazooie the more tighter experience, so that's why I kept it on here, and I didn't add Banjo-Tooie either. Even though the two Zeldas are on there. It's fine. Okay, now we're getting to the top 3 of this list. Ooh. Okay. You know, I really want to put Majora's Mask on S rank. Why is that? It's because I recognize it being a better game. The only problem is, I never played Majora's Mask. So I can't give my own opinion on it. I can only give the opinion from everyone else on it. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm contemplating right now putting Majora's Mask below Mario 64. Yep. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to put Majora's Mask right here. I still consider it a really good game, and you can also already assume probably that Ocarina of Time is going to be an S rank. I'm just gonna immediately spoil that, like right now. I'm gonna immediately spoil that because... And the reason why I'm putting Majora's Mask up here is because its gameplay is as tight and maybe even a little bit better than Ocarina of Time is. The concept for the game, I absolutely love. I think the concept of the game is way more interesting than Ocarina of Time. The amount of items is a little bit annoying, I guess, but I feel like it's a small thing. And the amount of dungeons, not that many, to be fair. But I can't give my full opinion on Majora's Mask because I've never played it myself before. That's the only issue I have with it. I haven't played this game myself. If I did, I would put it probably higher than Ocarina of Time, or maybe on the same level even. But for now, I'm gonna put it below Ocarina of Time. Maybe I would still put it below Ocarina of Time. Maybe I still would, after playing it, but it depends. For now, I can't say too much about Majora's Mask. All I can say is it deserves its spot, for sure. Maybe even higher. You'll... just give your opinion in the comments. Like, I'm gonna ask you guys as well to leave your own list in the comment section down below, so people can kind of talk about it, what they think about it, which games should have been replaced, which games should have been changed, whatever, you know? Further on, going in A tier, Mario 64. So Mario 64, easily one of the most revolutionary games in the Nintendo 64, and I think everyone and your mother could even tell you that's the case, and why this game is so fucking good. Release title or launch title on the N64. It couldn't have been a better launch title they chose for the damn system, I think, because holy fuck did this game show how much the N64 can actually do. It's insane. This game is fucking phenomenal. Do I need to say more? But no, like, it's a platformer. 15 courses you can go through, 3 Bowser levels. You have a lot of stars to collect, 120 to be exact. The levels are very diverse, with some of them being a little bit less diverse. Like, come on guys, 2 snow levels? Really? One of my major gripes with Mario 64 is later on in the game, the creativity goes at some points down and some points up. It's weird. It's very even. But yeah, I think towards the mid-game is when the creativity kind of starts to go right down. And then later it picks it up again. But I don't know. I still think the game, it's just, the gameplay is so damn fluid. It's amazing. The gameplay is one of my favorite aspects of Mario 64. Better than Ocarina of Time. Better than Ocarina of Time. Doesn't mean it deserves a higher spot than Ocarina of Time, but I'll get to that in a second. But I think the gameplay in Mario 64 is super solid. It led to the concept of ROM hacks being a thing, which they are right now. And ROM hacks are phenomenal, which makes replaying Mario 64 even more fun, because you can actually go through multiple different levels that people have made. Now, of course, that's not actual Mario 64, but still. I think Mario 64 is just so replayable because, like, it's not, like, it doesn't take a long time to get through. And I think that's the thing with platformers, though. If it doesn't get long, or it doesn't take long to get through, people often replay it. Because it's easy to go through, you know what you're doing now, and like you're kind of curious how fast you can beat it right now, you know what I mean? And that's what makes Mario 64 so replayable, I think. Is you kind of get better at the game the more you play it. So the more times you replay, you get better at the game, you can do more advanced tricks, whatever. And that's what makes Mario 64 so damn replayable and so damn fucking good. I don't think I need to say any more about this game. Moving on to the S rank, the number 1 on my list of top 16 N64 games, like, I think best N64 games ever, to be fair. If I ever were to make like a top 100 list, might do that in the future, I don't know, but I haven't played enough N64 games to give my full opinion on it. But for now, number 1, and I think this is no surprise to anyone, I think a lot of people of you guessed it probably in the comment section down below before even hearing it. Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time is my top 1 favorite N64 game on the entire list. Let me explain. Ocarina of Time is pretty much the 3D jump from A Link to the Past. That's all it is. Now, a lot of people may say, well, but Ocarina of Time is not that great, though. Like, Link to the Past is a better game. I agree. But I still think that Ocarina of Time did everything and every, like, fiber of A Link to the Past being and put it into a 3D perspective, and that's Ocarina of Time. It's just everything you want out of a 3D experience of a Zelda game, and that's why I love it so much. Maybe that's going to put it above Majora's Mask for me because it's the more traditional Zelda experience, and I think that's important for a Zelda game. To have that traditional feel to it, to make it feel like you're actually playing a Zelda game. As a Zelda game, Ocarina of Time is phenomenal. Amazing. As a game, maybe Majora's Mask would be better. But for now, I think Ocarina of Time just generally is a better Zelda game, a better game, and just a phenomenal experience from start to finish. Like, you get hooked in its, like, storytelling, which is unique for something on the N64 to get you thrilled for its, like, storytelling, because nothing on the N64 screams good storytelling. Nothing does. Like, from all the games I listed here, nothing has good storytelling. No, like, none of these games have any storytelling whatsoever. Paper Mario. Sorry. Paper Mario. I need to shut my mouth. Paper Mario has good storytelling, but it's mostly quirky, right? There's not a bunch of, like, really interesting storytelling aspects in Paper Mario that, like, keep you thinking, right? But in Ocarina of Time, there's a lot of lore, a lot of, like, plot points that are so exciting whenever you get to it. Heck, like finding out that Sheikah is Zelda. That was like the first thing that popped to mind, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, you knew about it because of Smash, right? But still, it's like, it's a pretty heavy moment whenever you first see it. And I think a lot of what makes Ocarina of Time so, like, I don't know, like, so special is because of its plot, because of how everything kind of fits together in this, like, what do you call it? Like, in this kind of, like, I don't know what I'm supposed to say here. Yeah, I don't know, in the grander scheme of things, because it's a Link to the Past story retold, in a way. Because have you ever thought of it like that? Like, A Link to the Past is, like, future and past, and Ocarina of Time is basically taking that concept, but then putting it in a different kind of Hyrule. Whatever. That's why I'm saying I consider this a 3D version of A Link to the Past. Because I think it is. But yeah. It's just the game is solid, the gameplay works, I love the lock-on system to an extent. There are some points where I could rip my hair out though, but that's fine, you know? Like, it was the first time moving to 3D, so I can forgive it for that, you know what I mean? And other than that, I think the characters are also really cool. The characters are really dope. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to say about this game. I consider this almost a perfect game. I really do. For N64 standards, this game is phenomenal. I would certainly consider like a perfect game back in the day. Nowadays, I can see some of its flaws, so I wouldn't necessarily consider it a 100%. More like a 97, 98, which is still amazing. So yeah. I think that's it. I think I'm going to not wrap it up. I'm going to talk for a little bit more, but this is my list. So I said I was going to check if I wanted to change anything, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to leave it like this. I think it's fine. Yep. I like it the way it is right now. I do. So some honorable mentions, besides the honorable mentions that I just added. Maybe Banjo-Tooie could have been on there. Jet Force Gemini was a good one. Kirby 64 would have been a good choice. Mega Man 64 even. Perfect Dark would have been a good one as well. So yeah, I think there would have been a lot of other... Oh yeah, F-Zero X I talked about. A lot of other, like, games that could have been on here, right? Like, whenever we talk about madness, I feel like GoldenEye should not have been on this list. GoldenEye should have just fucking dropped off immediately. And Pokemon Snap, I would say 2. Unfortunately, I would say Pokemon Snap as well. And I would change Mario Party 2 to like Mario Party 3. But other than that, the list was fine. I think Madness did a pretty good job. I don't know who won. It must have been Ocarina of Time, right? I'll say who won, like in the post-edit. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Post your own like rankings down below. I would love to see them. I would love to talk about it a little bit more. So yeah. If you did enjoy this though, please leave a like rating down below. I'm not going to ask you to subscribe, but you can subscribe if you want to. But hey, I'm going to get out of here though. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next episode or whatever video I'm going to do. Goodbye.